Welcome to the Mojo Market Report. Here's your hosts, Dave Sturchio and Chris Gueci.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode and edition of the Mojo Market Report, coming to you live from Chop Studios here on a Thursday. It is none other than Dave Sturchio, Chris Gueci here on Thursday, April the 20th. You okay?
Yeah.
Okay. You're good to go. All right. Whoa. Oh, 420. Oh, for all those playing Mojo in New Jersey, there's many other things that are legal in New Jersey as well. For all you,
It's been a fun morning.
It has been a fun morning, actually. Chop Studios is a great place to be, great place to rent. But you don't want to leave your dishes in the sink. You know what I'm saying? So I digress with that. Outside of that, we had ourselves a fantastic night of basketball. Once again, the NBA playoffs roll on. And, of course, I was wrong on a couple of my predictions here because of the fact that I think it was an hour before the game, Giannis was ruled out. So that was like, oh, boy, that means, you never know what happens there. We'll get into that game in a second. But first, we got to start with the Lakers, who I thought was going to kind of cruise. And that's what the NBA halftime show. Those guys are great, by the way, Charles Barkley and those guys. But, I think it was Barkley who thought, Barkley said, the Lakers went into this game like, we're the Lakers. We got the Lakers across our chest. Memphis is down their star. And Charles made a point to say that there's no bad players in the NBA. You know what I'm saying? Like, unless your name's RJ Barrett, there's no bad players in the NBA, meaning you can't take anybody lightly, not in the playoffs at least. So Memphis comes out there and they win again. Huh?
They're the 2 seed.
They are the 2 seed. They're 2 seed for a reason.
About? It's like the Lakers have to realize who they are. I understand they've had a good 2-week stretch, 3-week stretch, but that was largely without LeBron. So LeBron being there changes things. I know it's hard to say, like, maybe LeBron makes them worse. And 2 days ago we were talking about Lakers look really scary.
Yeah.
They still look scary. It's a playoff series. On the road, they split. That's what you're supposed to do if you're the road team. So same deal with the Knicks. The other day, Lakers still in an okay spot. They're healthy.
103-93 is the final. LeBron goes for 28. He actually hits his liquid prop bet, so thank you to King James. But if you look across the way, the best part about Memphis is the fact that each one of their starters, double figures in points, so they all contributed heavy, led by, 22 points out of Tillman. It's something to be said about a team that can perform this way without their star. Now, does Ja Morant get back for Game 3? I guess we got to wait and see, but I don't know if he was even remotely close to playing in this one. So it's only a 2 or 3 day.
They said it's a pain tolerance thing. There's no structural damage. It's just bruising, which is not a good situation when you're playing basketball because you need your hands. But to the point about Memphis, I think last year Ja Morant missed like 26 games, 20-something games.
They played better defense,
right? They were 21-5 in the stretch that he was out. So they can win basketball games without him. They have a good team. But they cannot win a championship without Ja Morant. So there's that. They could win some games, maybe win a series, but there's no way they go all the way unless Ja Morant's doing his thing. So
I wholeheartedly agree with that one. So we'll check to see. I think they play again on Saturday night, so we'll get into that tomorrow to predict some weekend stuff. So we mentioned before Giannis being ruled out. That was a big news for the Bucks to try to not fall behind 2-0 with this one. So we were, kind of saying like, all right, it's playoff Jimmy Butler. He's playing well, and he had himself another great game. But another collective effort out of the Bucks, get the job done here handily. 138-122. This game was never close. It was never in reach. I thought for sure that the Bucks were going to struggle without their big. But guess what? The reemergence of one legend known as Brook Lopez balled out last night. He was their big, and he did an amazing job last night. Again, looking at his stat line, he goes for 25 points. So incredible. He led the team in scoring right above Drew Holiday. So your thoughts now with the fact that it's 1-1. It's now, again, they had the home court already, so Miami did what they needed to do. They needed to go in there and steal a game. But when you think about this team scoring 138 points without the potential NBA MVP, does it look kind of weary now for the Heat going forward?
I think it looked weary anyway. I was talking about it yesterday going into this. I didn't think that the Heat stood much of a chance anyway in this game because of the desperate Milwaukee team. And now if Giannis comes back in Game 3, they got to go on the road. But Miami doesn't seem like the toughest place to play, especially when there's not an expectation for them to win. I don't think Miami, the fans in Miami, all 12 of them, think they're going to win.
Yeah.
And the Miami fans, they show up when the team is really good. So that's the only time that they care. Because out there, it's like an event more so than
it's like a party.
an NBA game.
Yeah,
Exactly.
it's like a club, DJ, everything.
To answer the question, though, I mean, yeah, it's not because of this game. I already thought that, but this solidifies it. And now if you're Miami and you're looking at it, it's like, well, man, we had a really good chance to take the 2-0 lead, and they failed.
Or are they looking at it like, look, we did what we needed to do. We split the series, right? And we that's what you got to do in the playoffs when you're the lower seed. Get out there and win a game on the road.
I don't think that there's that thought process. It's like, oh, well, we did what we needed to do. They're upset with the loss, but it's not all loss. It's still 1-1. They have a 5-game series now. It's just, and they have the home court. So to a degree, yeah, we took care of it, but they just had a chance to go up 2-0 because Giannis was out and they failed miserably at it. So they have to be a little bit upset with themselves on that one.
Yeah.
But we'll see how they respond.
And we'll
good
see
coach.
how they respond. Yes, good coach. A 41-point performance out of one Anthony Edwards for the Minnesota Timberwolves was not enough. The Denver Nuggets had a 40-point burger of their own, and Murray, he balls out. Look, this game, again, 122-113 the final. This one's now 2-0. Again, going into this series, you're looking at the Timberwolves, how they had a kind of scratch and claw because they lost their first game. Then they had a win on a Friday night, get out here, start playing their series. Look, Denver's been the best team in the NBA for a reason. They balled out last night. I was actually watching this game kind of closely towards the end of the night. Man, I maybe I don't appreciate how effortless it looks for the Joker to do what he does. He's so fluid for such a big, just not even like he's not Giannis. He's not, he's like a.
He's not a freak of nature.
No, he's really not. But like he makes
the
game look so easy.
He is a freak of nature in the sense that he's not the Giannis's or the Embiids of the world, but somehow, some way, still just manages to find his openings. And it's the ball control, really. I mean, there's so much to it. He has a good shot. He's a great passer, so you have to respect everything. You can't guard him like you guard normal bigs.
All aspects of the game, this dude is doing great, and that's why
you can make the case that he's the best passing big man of all time.
Yeah?
You can make that case. I mean, I don't know the numbers because I'm not like that deep into the NBA, but look what he's doing, bro. I mean, he's triple doubles consistently.
Yeah, I mean, he was a rebound, a couple assists, one assist away, actually one rebound and one assist away from a triple double in a playoff game. So that just goes to show you, no stage too big for this dude. So again, excited to see what these guys do. As they go up 2-0, you would assume that they're going to kind of coast into the next round and see what they do going forward. Tonight, obviously, the 76ers visit the Brooklyn Nets. The Nets get back on their home court, 2-0 series down. Is there going to be energy at Barclays or no?
There might be as many Sixers fans there as there is.
That's very true. They're probably going to travel relatively well.
I mean, do they even have to travel? Brooklyn, I guess, is far from Philly.
It's a drive,
but I know a lot of Sixers fans right from around here, so it's not like they're that far of a travel.
Yeah. So again, it was a wacky year for the Nets.
Trip.
They lost. I know they lost all their stars. Their one star left is hurt, and he's got hurt feelings and a hurt back or whatever the hell he's going through. Brooklyn just doesn't look right. Do I think they could steal one against the 76ers at home within the next 2 games? Maybe, but the Sixers are just built to win right now, and I think they're
getting swept.
Yeah,
who's it going to be? It's probably going to be the Nets. It's probably going to be.
I would say Minnesota, probably. They did play well, but whatever. A team who's probably not going to get swept as the series moves back to Golden State. The Kings are visiting the Warriors tonight. Now, I watched a longer, lengthy interview with J.J. Redick, and everybody knows who J.J. Redick is, either from his basketball fame or now being in the media. He's one of the better personalities, I think. I think he's very authentic. I think he tells it how it is. I don't think sometimes he might go off script, so again, you got to be careful. But J.J. Redick said that the league is now officially targeting one Draymond Green because it's just like all the stuff that happened to Draymond Green over the course of, I don't want to say a career because he's got a nasty past, but what I'm saying is this year in particular, he was being fouled and elbowed and banged around, right? And then, like, all of a sudden, that's why some of this retaliation stuff happens. And then you find yourself as big brother, big brother, little brother situation. Big brother hits the little brother hits the big brother, little brother gets caught, right? So that's where I feel, not in your situation, of course. But what I'm saying is that's what kind of happened here. nobody heard or nobody saw Sabonis grabbing a leg until the videotape was reviewed. Next thing you know, he stomped the life out of the guy. So that's why the suspension's happening.
So the NBA, basically. So he fouled him, didn't see it. I mean, they could probably give a flagrant foul to Sabonis. I don't know if they did that or not. It was a flagrant foul. He egregiously grabbed his leg. But guess what he didn't do? He didn't earth stomp the guy.
He did not.
And I don't think...
And he didn't jump on a chair and start yelling at obscenities at the fans.
And look, is JJ Redick right? Maybe. But I don't think that it's the NBA's fault. You know, I'll blame the NBA at every turn. Every one of the NFL, NBA, MLB, I have issues with all of them at the top. But when it comes down to it, it's like, who could be surprised that Draymond's suspended right here? I'm actually surprised that it took as long as it did.
Are you surprised that there was a suspension given out in a playoff game?
Absolutely not, bro. I've seen this happen time and time again. I think Draymond's been suspended in the playoffs before.
One of our friends over on the Chop Sports Group
it was the finals against LeBron. In that 3-1 series, I'm almost positive that Draymond had to sit down on one of those games.
Oh my God.
Now, Draymond Green brought a lot to the table for his team. He's 33 now, right? I think he's done with Golden State. You might get to see 2 or 3 more games.
I was thinking he was going to be a lifer for the sole purpose that nobody would tolerate him.
Yeah, but nobody wants to tolerate him in Golden State anymore either, it seems.
True.
You know, it's like you got this guy who, when he had the skill set that came along with it, and not to say that he doesn't now, but his main thing is defense and antagonist. But if you're doing harm, if you're doing more harm than good for your team, which I think that's what's happening right now, you're down points, you're down within reach, and you're doing some dumb like that for no reason. Grab your leg or not. I mean, come on, bro. I've had my leg grabbed before. It's not how you get out. You know, it's just not how you get out. He did what he did on purpose. If they're targeting him, it's on him. You know, Rasheed Wallace was targeted. When guys act a certain way throughout their career, you put the target on your back. There's no one to blame besides Draymond in this situation. Now, I also think that they could have gotten away with not suspending him because nobody got hurt. Sabonis said, "Don't worry about it." But when you're the league and you have no choice.
Don't worry about it after the fact.
Well, no, I mean, like he said, I'm fine. It's no harm, no foul. I'm good. I'm not hurt. It was a basketball play. He kind of knew. He grabbed his leg. So as a player, he's like, whatever, bro. We'll see you next game. No big deal. But the NBA can't let it go down like that because if they start letting that happen,
the inmates run the asylum.
And well,
that's the phrase.
Yes.
Jesus Christ.
But we saw what happened with Detroit and Indiana years back, and ever since that day, it changed a lot about the NBA polices themselves. They just don't let shit like this go down anymore.
Yeah. L.A. Clippers got back on the court tonight against the Phoenix Suns. Now, look, we've been seeing the Phoenix Suns kind of ball since the Kevin Durant trade, and when he was healthy on the court, they looked unbeatable, right? And last game, they avenged it. They had to come back. They didn't want to fall down 2-0, but now the game moves to L.A. The series moves to L.A., rather. And to me, Kawhi Leonard playing on an all-time new level. You got Russ playing inspired basketball. This might be the best series going forward out of all the series, honestly.
Yeah, it's going to be a good one.
Clearly I'm invested in the Knicks and the Cavs, but like this one in itself, the Suns and they match up very, very close to each other. I fully expect LA to come out and win this game tonight. I just, again, Kawhi Leonard, they're playing good basketball.
It's tough. I can't call it because obviously we haven't seen like the KD game yet. You know what I mean? So that kind of
sort of saw it last game, but not as much. Yeah,
you know, like if KD can take that's the great part about this because we could see them both go off.
Correct.
You know, where's Paul George at?
He hasn't played.
He hasn't played? He's done?
I don't know if he's done.
I think he's supposed to be back this series, right? Is he going to play? Because if he does, that could change a lot.
Yeah, we'll see. But that is the NBA playoffs. They roll on going forward here tonight. Now let's get into some NFL action here. There is some news. Yesterday, Tua Tagovailoa came out and did a nice little press conference, kind of addressed everything that was going on with him because, again, the Miami Dolphins have picked up his fifth-year option, so he's going to be the quarterback of the future, or at least of the next couple of years for the Miami Dolphins. Now, with you, Gooch, 47% up in a year, 27% up since draft day. If you're an investor in the Mojo Market right now, with Tua being still as low as he is, he's around the $41 mark, are you still investing now heavily into Tua knowing the injury history?
Yeah.
You are?
Because...
Is it just because it's the cheap? It's on the cheap comparable?
Yeah, I mean, the injury history, I'm not going to sit here and say that he's not going to get concussed again because he's a football player. It could
he gets
happen.
Concussed again. They really have to... They might have to... He's going to wind up like Steve Young, man. or Troy or one of these guys that just leave the league because they have to.
All right, so for all the concussions, Steve Young and Troy, and I'm not a doctor.
They're fantastic commentators.
But they both do a pretty good job of holding it
great.
down when it comes to post-career jobs and,
of
and keeping
course.
it together.
They're both amazing.
Maybe they're outliers, obviously.
They just
but
come
this
to
is
mind.
funny because this is what I brought up yesterday when we were talking about this lunatic hockey player that took a skate to the face, right?
Yeah.
75 stitches, and everyone's like, he's a hockey player, stay in the game. Did he get checked? Did he, is he... I'm talking about 75 stitches to the face. There has to be some type of impact there, right? Whatever's going on is not a good situation. But Tua might retire with another concussion. He's talking out of his... He's not going to retire. He just got paid. He's looking for...
He did. He said he contemplated it. He did.
So they picked up his 5th year, but they didn't give him his extendo?
Not yet.
He ain't going anywhere without that extension and that signing bonus. I could promise you that. I think more was made of it publicly than it actually was, too. I think that once it happened, they used Tua as like the poster boy. The media got involved, and he almost had to play along, and the Dolphins had to play along. They were like, all right, we're just going to... But, I mean, they sent him right back out there in Buffalo.
They really did. Wobbly-legged and all.
It doesn't affect my opinion on his stock, though.
That's Tua. Yesterday, according to sources, Joe Mixon pled not guilty to the menacing charge that was... brought into his world.
A lot of weird nuances going on with this case.
So, you think the Bengals are just like, I'm good? Like you we're good. Like we don't need you anymore.
I don't think
Goodbye.
it has anything to do with this case. I think that if you're based on what they originally said that there was going to be no criminal charges filed, and there was new evidence surfaced, but I mean that's standard. I don't know that necessarily means anything when it comes down to it. He's probably going to plead out, take some type of misdemeanor charge, and everything is going to be all fine and gravy when it comes to his NFL playing career and jail time. I don't think that's going to happen. That said, the Bengals were going to release or trade him anyway. They straight up said the other day, like, we're going to try and find a suitor for Joe Mixon. If we can't, he's going to get cut. So Joe Mixon will be available.
He's a $12.7 million cap hit this year, a $13.1 next year. If they straight cut him, they can save $7 million this year, $10 million next year. So that it seems like he is a perfect cut candidate. Now the problem is if you do that, right? If you go out and you cut Joe Mixon, right? And there's your running game. Goodbye, right? You look at that running game right now, they don't have one. They don't have Joe Mixon out. They don't have a running back. I know yesterday we talked about the value of a running back is just like a landing spot for one Zeke because he went to
Ohio. Are you on their depth chart right now?
I am on their depth chart.
Can you name their guys?
Trayvon Williams and Chris Evans.
Chris Evans might be decent, but not a starter.
Correct. That's what I'm saying. So they have to bring. There are guys still floating out there. The Kareem Hunts of the world, the Zekes of the world. Is that a landing spot for those guys? If they
Dalvin Cook.
Well, I don't know if they would move from a Joe Mixon to a Dalvin Cook, where it's probably going to cost the same. Dalvin Cook's going to get paid if he gets cut. You would assume.
No, I think that none of these guys are going to get a big deal.
It's just crazy to me. It's just crazy.
And I don't think
the
Bengals are going to. I don't think that they're going to be the team that's going after a high-priced running back. It could make sense for Zeke because he named him as one of his 3 places that he'd like to play.
I mean, it's Ohio State, right
it makes sense in that regard. I still don't think it's a good fit for the Bengals because I don't know what he's bringing to the table much other than what he brings to the table.
They could
That's
draft somebody.
more likely, but having to start a rookie, where do they pick in the first round? Fairly late.
Yeah, definitely late.
Yeah, I mean the Bengals are in the market for a running back for sure, and Mixon's going to get cut. And realistically, look around the league. Eckler might be gone. We talked about this at length. There's going to be other running backs will become available as we approach June 1st. For sure.
Very curious story coming out of San Francisco that teams are calling about Trey Lance. Do you think there's any remote possibility he gets moved?
Yeah, there's a big possibility. I think it's going to be the Titans probably. That's what I've been reading.
Wow. Okay.
One of those teams. They're talking Titans, Texans. So there's
the
two
Texans
rumors.
do it, then they definitely don't have to draft a quarterback.
There's 2 rumors that are going down right now.
But it would have to probably give up one of those picks.
Schefter put out, I think 2 days ago, that he's getting reports now that the second quarterback's not going to get picked until the 4th pick. If Trey Lance becomes traded to the Texans, then that makes maybe a little bit of sense because then Arizona or Indianapolis won't have to feel so urgent need to trade up to the 2 pick or the 3 pick for that matter, then they could sit still because Arizona's
Well,
not
do you
taking
think
a
it would
quarterback.
cost the 2 pick to get Trey Lance?
No,
No, he's not worth that much.
not a shot.
Okay, I'm just
But maybe
throwing
the
it out there.
11.
Yeah, I'm saying they have like a lot of picks. The Texans have a lot of picks.
I'll be honest, I'm not giving up the 11th either. Not a shot.
Well, if other mocks, let's just pretend this. Other mocks have Hendon Hooker going around there, maybe, right, to the Titans. Would you trade the 11th to go get Lance, or would you draft Hendon Hooker if you had the option?
Well, I have to pick Hendon Hooker.
I'm just saying, let's just say all the quarterbacks go.
Take a tackle.
I'm saying if they're in the market for a quarterback, would you rather draft Hendon Hooker, or would you rather trade that pick away and have Trey Lance?
I mean, Trey Lance is in his 3rd year. You're a lot closer to the having to pay him.
Yeah, I mean,
he's coming off
and
of
no
an
proven
injury.
record really
I don't
at
know.
all.
I'm not really big on
Hendon Hooker's coming off the ACL
coming off
too.
an injury as well.
Just curious.
So I'm going to pass on both guys.
Oh, okay.
At
That wasn't
11th pick.
obviously that wasn't an option, but he made it an option, and that's
Well,
where we're
yeah.
at. So that's curious to know. Listen,
That's how I vote too. I'm not.
I don't want to either of these guys. Get rid of them. Before we get out of here, I do want to. You missed it twice.
I tried to do it twice, Dave. Thanks. I actually succeeded both times. I don't know what you're talking about.
Before we get out
Try
of
it
here,
again.
no, not gonna happen. Before we do actually get out of here, one piece of baseball news that I wanted to bring up, and I was gonna bring it up at the top of the show, but I kind of forgot. Yeah, boy, oh boy. One, you don't swear on your kids, man. You don't do that.
Unless you want them to believe you.
Max Scherzer yesterday,
Imagine he
starting
was like,
ace all-star pitcher for the New York Mets.
no crosses counts.
Was
I
right,
swear
yeah,
on
his
my
eyes
kids.
crossed the entire time. Was
Hey.
ejected yesterday because of sticky stuff on his hands.
In case you guys didn't see the internet.
Yeah, the internet was ablaze about this, and Mets fans are up in arms. First because Domingo Germán was not thrown out of his game. He was given the opportunity to go wash his hands, come on back, do his thing. I think this is a lot more to do with the fact that he just went batshit nuts on him.
One guy was like, "Hey, what's on your hands?" He was like, "K." And then they were like, "What? Could you go wash your hands?" He said, "C." And that was it, right? And then Max Scherzer literally had a party in the ump's face. Then he went down to the dugout, changed his glove, probably did like 100 push-ups, right?
Max is a psychopath,
Absolute
bro.
lunatic.
Psycho.
Lunatic.
But anyway, he's been suspended for 10 games. And from what I'm hearing, right away when you hear that, you're like, he's going to appeal, he's going to win. You know, because he's going to wind up saying, he claims it's
Gonna
sweat,
get reduced.
it's rosin, it's this, it's that. Bro, the amount of things that I heard this morning driving in, like the amount of ingredients that this could possibly be. Like the one guy, the best one I heard all morning was, Max probably has all that sweat and those tears from the pitch clock bitching.
Look,
Just mixed with the ball. I'm like,
I'm
dude.
just going to digest this for a little bit and then dissect it for you. Max cheated, right? That's what
What?
Hold on. Max got thrown out of the game for cheating. That's
Correct.
literally what happened. All right, so now it's like,
Because
did he actually cheat?
Because people were like, well, did he get thrown out because he argued?
No. He got thrown out
he
for
got thrown
cheating.
out for cheating and got suspended by Major League Baseball.
I want to break a couple things down, right? So this is for Mets fans specifically and anybody on this side of the coin here because they're talking about, if he was a Yankee, he would have gotten away with it. I just don't understand how people make that correlation as if or a Yankee becomes a POS, and if you go to the Mets, then you're like automatically potentially a good guy, or vice versa. It's like, no, these guys all suck, or they're all trying to cheat, or they all are good guys. It's not where you play, who you play for. That has zero to do with it. That's first. Second, I'm hearing things like, okay, it was rosin, but it clearly wasn't because there was a glove exchange, there was a tape on his there was tape on his other hand.
The pitch comm is apparently
the pitch
on
comm
it.
was whatever it might be. All right, fine. And they're saying it doesn't make any sense because it's on his left hand. Now, I don't know the nuances or the intricacies of this. I wasn't out there. But what I will say is this. If your excuse or your reasoning for him not cheating is because it was on his left hand or it was on his glove, where else would you put it? Where else are you going to put it? I've seen
The pitch
people
comm?
get thrown out. No.
Oh.
The sticky stuff.
Oh.
If you need to keep on going to it, it's going to be inside your glove. Why do they check the glove? It's like saying this. They're like,
The glove is apparently
it makes
in
no
MLB
sense.
property
I'm talking
right
to you, Rube. It makes no sense It makes no sense for them to throw him out. It wasn't even on his pitching hand. It was on his left hand. No. It was on both, and it was predominantly on his pitching or on his glove hand. Now, granted, I still, like I said, don't know. It could have been the leftover tape. But, hey, when they tell you got to get the leftover tape off, get the leftover tape off. Don't come back out with your fingers sticking together. And it's like if Garrett Cole last year had spider tack in his left glove, would anybody care if I was to say he's not pitching with his glove hand?
Nobody would care.
So nobody. I would be looked at like, I find it hard to I find some of these guys' opinions. I take them I value a lot of the people's opinions. Like Rube, I feel like he's a smart guy.
Smart Met fan.
Right?
We know a bunch of them.
Call out Rube again. He's a smart guy.
He hasn't watched the show, I don't
but
think.
when it comes to the blinders about which team you like and who, and it's like, well, the Yankees got away with it, but the Mets didn't. And
bro, we lost A-Rod for a year.
And spider tack or his glove hand.
He gets away with anything.
End of the day, you cheated, you got caught, and now you're suspended for it. If you want to reduce it to 5 games, maybe, but
as of right now, he's slated to miss 2 starts.
He's going to miss 1 if they appeal it. They're not going to wipe the suspension away.
No, I think there's
Baseball
absolutely going to be something going
suspension
down.
Away.
Interesting, man.
Anyway, Max,
baseball,
you're a cheater, bro.
How many times? It's like this. You do this. And that's there. You can follow us right now on social media. And
Max
that's
is a cheat.
TikTok, Instagram, Twitter, in which we can find all the Max Scherzer information at Mojo, M-O-J-O. And you can join the Discord. Daily conversation about everything there is Mojo. You got to join it right now. A lot of stuff going on over there. But what
also,
now?
the A's are moving to Vegas.
Is that official? Just now?
It says right here.
Huh?
Oakland Athletics agreed to
I got
purchase
nothing.
land near Vegas Strip where they intend to build an MLB park. That always throws me off. You have
N and M or N and A?
An acronym with a letter.
MLB?
Yeah.
It's definitely NML.
It's Major League Baseball.
Yeah, it's Major League Baseball because it's not a vowel.
But NMLB.
NMLB. Build an MLB. Yeah, you would say N. This is weird. All right.
But
anyway.
you understand why?
Yeah, no, I'm with you on that one. English language is dumb. But we're smart. So that's Dave Sturchio, Chris Gueci. This has been another episode of the Mojo Market Report. Back here tomorrow to recap all 3 games. You're still not going to do it. It's amazing, bro. Are you trying to keep it on the desk?
I'm trying to do that, bro. It's like paper football.
We will recap all the action from tonight into tomorrow. We're excited about it. We'll see you guys then.
Do it again.